Hello students, welcome back. We are discussing biological classification of standard 11th. I hope you have gone through the previous videos and understood the concept very clearly. So let's start with the biological classification's next topic on kingdom Protista. Till now we have discussed about kingdom Monera and we started discussing the divisions of kingdom Protista. I hope you remember there. Kingdom Protistas are the eukaryotic organisms which are working as a link between the kingdom Monera and the kingdom fungi. Now, when we talk about the divisions of kingdom Protista, there are 5 classifications which we have studied, and on that today we are going to be talking about first about slime molds. I think we have done with Euglenophyta and Christophyta, so remaining 3 we will be discussing in today's class. We'll start first with the slime molds. What are these slime molds? What are their general characteristics? How do they reproduce? How their lifestyle is? We'll talk about everything about slime molds today. Now, slime molds are characterized by the absence of cell wall in vegetative parts. Basically, what happens now? Kingdom Protistas are known to be having a cell wall present on their body. That means their body is covered by a cell wall. But slime molds do not have a cell wall present on them, especially on the vegetative parts. Now you may ask, ma'am, what is this vegetative parts? Why are you specifying it over here? See, in an organism, basically the plants or those who are having a chlorophyll present on them, their body can be divided into 2 different parts. One set of organs are called as vegetative part. The other set of organs are called as reproductive part. Now, in case of slime molds, the vegetative part do not have cell wall. Vegetative part means those parts which is not essentially required for reproduction. Did you get it? Vegetative parts are those parts which do not directly require for the reproduction. Those are called as vegetative parts. So that they are characterized by the absence of cell wall. What they don't have a cell wall. Where they don't have a cell wall? In their vegetative parts. What type of movement they show? They show amoeboid movement of the protoplasm. In their protoplasm, there is some movement which is visible, and those are the amoeboid movement. Like a little bit of movement will be seen towards the food or towards the water current or such that. They show phagotrophic nutrition and they have a cell wall, a cellulosic cell wall present on their spores. So their spores are having a cell wall which is made up of cellulose. Okay, cellulose being very hard to digest, most of the organism cannot digest only. And very importantly, these slime molds will be showing up special characteristics that is called as isogamous sexual reproduction. What is this isogamous sexual reproduction? You know the meaning of sexual reproduction. That is when 2 organisms produce their gametes, and when the gametes is fused, that procedure is called as sexual reproduction. But what is this isogamous over here? Let me explain you about isogamous here a little bit. Because isogamous you will be studying again when you go for 12th standard, and there you will be learning more in detail about it. But let me give you an introduction that what exactly isogamous is all about. Isogamous. What is the meaning of gamous over here? Gamous means gametes. Okay. What is the meaning of gamous? Gamous means gametes. Okay. Now, what is the meaning of iso? Iso means similar or same. Iso means similar or same. So, in case of sexual reproduction, these organisms will be producing those type of gametes where the gametes will be looking similar or same to each other. Those are called as isogamous. Now, does it make sense? That means, see, if at all organism's gamete, male gamete, let us take an example of male gamete. If an organism's male gamete looks like this, then the female gamete also will be looking similar to that. Now, can you identify among these 2 which is male and female, because both are looking so similar that we cannot identify? These type of gametes are called as isogamous, and they show isogamous sexual reproduction. Out of this, one will be male, one will be female, but we do not know because the structures are so similar. Anisogamous or heterogamous, that means where the gametes will not look like each other. This best example I can give you in case of human egg and the sperm. See, human egg looks like this and the sperm will be like having a tail. So this is a female egg and this is the male sperm. Okay. So these type of things are called as anisogamous or heterogamous. But what are these? These are called as isogamous. That means they are looking similar. Now does it make sense? Now is it clear to you? See, slime molds are characterized by the absence of cell wall in vegetative parts. They do not have cell wall in their vegetative parts. They show some amoeboid movement in the protoplasm. Also, they show a phagotrophic mode of nutrition. There is a presence of cellulose in the cell wall. Cell wall of the spore is made up of cellulose, and they show isogamous mode of sexual reproduction. Okay, let me see what are the next point on this. Okay, slime molds are saprophytic protists. Saprophytic. What is the meaning of saprophytes? Those organisms which take the nutrition from the dead and decaying matter. Those are called as saprophytes. Okay. Now see students, there are some terms which will be repeated again and again. Whenever those terms comes, I try to tell you the meaning of that particular term every time. But sometime it may happen that we just while in the flow of the particular concept, we may miss one or two. But your mind should be completely clear about those ideas. Like for example, what is autotrophic mode of nutrition? What is heterotrophic mode of nutrition? What are saprophytes? Which organisms are called as parasites? These terms should be very clear. Okay. Now here, what is the term given? Saprophytic. What is the meaning of saprophytic? Saprophyte means those organisms which obtain their food from the dead and the decaying matter. Those are called as saprophytes. So slime molds are saprophytic protists. Slime molds are saprophytic protists. And what type of organisms are these slime molds? Slime molds will be feeding on. What the food they will be having? They will be feeding on microorganisms that live in any type of dead plant material. See how this term is? On what the slime molds are eating? What they are eating? They are eating those microorganisms which are growing on a dead plant material. Did you understand? So if there is a dead wood log, there is a wood log which is already dead. Wood is cut and it is kept like that for a long period of time. So there will be some microorganisms which will be growing on this wood log and they will be deteriorating or decaying that. These slime molds will be growing on these microorganisms and they will be eating those, or they will be obtaining the nutrition from them. Okay. So they feed on microorganisms that live in any type of dead plant material. They contribute as a decomposition of dead vegetations and feed on bacteria, yeast and fungi. These organisms plays a role in cleaning the environment. Okay, they eat up or they use up all those dead microorganisms also which are actually getting decomposed. See, every organism after the death has to get decomposed and all the components of their body should mix in the atmosphere or in the environment. Right? So while doing so, there are different organisms and different things which will be helping in this process. Now on that note, the decomposition of big animals, larger animals or plants we can understand. Like a big wood has been cut or a tree has been cut. It is lying for a longer period of time. There will be fungal growth and all that will be eating up. We also can understand when a death of an animal happens, those animals also will be eaten up by different microorganisms. What about those microorganisms which are growing on those dead and decaying matters? They are also dying, right? So which organisms are eating those microorganisms? Those are the slime molds. Again, for deteriorating slime molds, some other organisms will be eating on that. So this is a complete cyclic process which is actually learned in better when we talk about nutrient cycling. That is also there in your syllabus. We'll be talking when the chapter comes. But right now what I'm telling you is, see, the slime molds, they're obtaining the nutrition from those organisms which is eating up the decomposed bacteria, yeasts and funguses. For this reason, slime molds are usually found in soil, lawns, on the forest floor and commonly on the deciduous logs. Now see, if I know that what type of habitat they follow, then obviously that area only those will be found. What are they eating? They are eating the dead microorganisms. Where are these dead microorganisms will be available? They will be available on the soil, they will be available on the garden place, on the forest floor, on the deciduous forest and so on, right? So these organisms, slime molds, are usually found in soil, lawns and on the forest floor, commonly on the deciduous logs. So see, these terms and these concepts are interrelated with each other, because if you understand one, you will be obviously knowing the other. And if you know the second thing, the third thing will be easy for you to understand. Now I hope this makes you clear that why slime molds are important in nature. Slime molds being in the kingdom Protista, helping to decompose dead and decayed microorganisms also. They show saprophytic mode of nutrition, and they found on the soil, on the lawn, on the forest floor, on the deciduous logs, etc. Okay, let us see what we have stored for the next one. Under suitable condition, they form an aggregation called as plasmodium, which may grow and spread over several feet. If at all they get a proper condition, then these slime molds will grow in a particular area, which is called as plasmodium growth, and they start covering that particular area. This type of covering you would have seen, right? Can you see this type of spore formation, archaea formation? But how they are spread over there, can you observe that? They are going to spread on a particular area, and that is very beautiful about slime mold. If they get a suitable condition, they form an aggregate. They keep on growing, and they spread to a particular area. If at all they do not have a favorable condition, in favorable condition they are spreading and utilizing that particular place for their growth. If the conditions are not favorable, then what they are going to do? In unfavorable condition, these plasmodiums will differentiate to form the fruiting bodies bearing spores and their tips. If conditions are good, then they are forming plasmodium. If the conditions are unfavorable or not good, then what they will do? These plasmodium will be forming the spore. So there are two type of things which we can see. There can be spore formation, or there can be plasmodium, or from plasmodium they are forming the spore. Okay. So during the favorable condition, when the favorable, let us write down the conditions are good. Good means when the conditions are favorable. When the conditions are favorable, the growth is forming the plasmodium. If the conditions are not good, if it is unfavorable, or if it is the conditions are bad, I should not say bad, but I should say unfavorable for the growth of slime molds. Okay. So if it is unfavorable, then what do? They form the spore. Okay, they form the spores. What are spores? Spores are nothing but the organism, tiny growth which is seen on the bark of the tree or on dead matter, where all the information for that particular organism will be present on them. And when the favorable condition comes, these spores will burst open to spread in different areas and to grow again. Okay, is it clear to you? That is about our favorable and unfavorable conditions growth of a slime mold. These spores will be having a true walls. Their spores will be having true walls. Now remember what I told. The vegetative part do not contain a proper cell wall, right? The vegetative part of the slime mold do not contain a cell wall. Whereas the spores, what are spores? Spores are not the vegetative part. Spores are the reproductive part. Yes, you are right. Spores are the reproductive part. So reproductive parts or the spores have proper cell wall. But the vegetative part, that means the body of the organism, may not have a proper cell wall in slime molds. Okay. Then we have, they are extremely resistant and can survive for many years even under adverse condition. These slime molds are very extremely adjusted to an environment. They can be alive if the condition goes very extreme also. Okay. So the spores dispersed by air currents. What happens when the conditions are unfavorable? What are they doing? They are forming the spores, right? Now these spores are going to be dispersed in the medium or in the air by the process of air currents. Like when the wind is blowing, they are present on the lawn or on the grass or on the tree barks, right? So when the air is blowing through them, their spores also will fly away with it. And wherever they found a favorable condition, there the growth of the slime mold will be seen again. Is it clear to you? So let us see the example. The examples are Physernum, Stemontis and Archaea. You would have seen these type of growths. You have to observe very keenly, you know. What happens in a bigger cities and towns, because of the more population of people, we do not see much of different varieties of growth, especially these molds, ferns and smaller organisms, smaller grasses and all. We don't observe them much because there is no proper condition to have that growth, or they don't get the favorable conditions.